Hey guys, it's Skaterdye 7 from Skaterdye PRODUCTIONS, and today I'm going to teach you this really cool trick called the boneless frontside flip. So the boneless frontside flip is a trick that's made up of two different tricks, a boneless finger flip and a boneless frontside 180. Those are the main prerequisites, but any other tricks would also be helpful. So for your foot positioning on this trick, you're going to want to have your feet anywhere on the board really, like in a place where you feel the most stable, because in most tricks you're going to want to have your foot in some type of position where it's going to be able to pop in a certain way. But for a boneless trick, it's more about being stable enough to be able to take off your front foot and to be able to grab with your back foot. If you really want, you could put your back foot on the tail to help initiate that pop, but it's not necessary. Just have it in a place where it's pretty spaced out and stable enough for you to do the trick. Step 1 of this trick is going to be the actual grabbing and taking off your front foot that's going to help initiate the rest of the trick. This is actually the first step in all boneless variations, so it's a step that you probably already know, but I'm going to go over it again just to help out. So in terms of this step, the key thing you want to remember is that you're going to want to bend your knees while you're doing this, and then just take off your front foot when you feel comfortable, because this trick is really involves a good amount of balance, because there's a lot happening in this trick with the flip. And sometimes I feel that if you just have a better state of balance, if you're just a lot more balanced, it could be a lot easier. So one thing I want to emphasize is that you want to be super balanced, take off your front foot, and then only grab and initiate the trick when you feel ready. So just to re-emphasize, the first step of this trick is just to take off your front foot and grab the board. The second step of this trick is going to be the actual motion. Now this motion is probably actually going to be pretty hard for a lot of beginners or intermediate skaters, because this is different than almost every other boneless variation that you have done. Most other boneless variations typically only involve one motion, be that like a flip, a spin, a jump, whatever, right? It only involves one motion. This trick changes it all because it actually involves two motions, a 180 and a flip. And so the way I would advise to go about it is not to think of it as two separate motions, but rather as one continuous flow. Just like you do the 180 and then the flip. So the way you do this is you grab your either your right hand if you're regular or left-handed goofy on the rail of the board, just like every other boneless variation, and you start to initiate the 180. You know, you'll start to turn your arms, move the board. Like you would actually start to initiate the 180. And then at the same time, while you're initiating the 180, about a quarter of the way through, I would say, or whenever you feel like, whenever it really feels right, I think it feels right about a quarter of the way through, you would start to initiate the flip. Because you cannot do the flip unless you're in the air. So you would start with the 180, and then the flip would just naturally flow in there. So just to go over that again, you would just start by grabbing with your rail, and then starting to pull and turn the 180, get the board into the air, and then once the board is about a quarter of the way through, when it actually is in the air, you can start to do the flip. And that is essentially the second step. It's that motion that makes up the boneless frontside flip. The last step of this trick is going to be the landing, and in my opinion, the landing is actually the most difficult part of this entire trick. And the reason is because there's so much going on in this trick. You're doing a 180, you're doing a flip, and you have to focus on landing the trick. And there's a lot going on, and in my opinion, there's a lot that can go wrong. And so sometimes that can psych people out, or that can just be that can also just like make their balance be a little bit screwed up. So one thing I want to emphasize is that when you're doing this trick, you really want to focus on bending your knees and staying as close to the board as possible. You also want to emphasize that when you're doing the flip, try not to do the flip far away from you, because if you end up doing the flip far away from you, it's going to be harder for you to land on the board because the board is going to be farther away. You're going to have to do a farther jump. If you focus on putting the board under you, it's just going to be a lot easier for you to land on it, right? Because then you don't have to do like the extra jump, you have to do like an extra step. You just have to land it. If you bend your knees and focus on putting the board under you, and you just commit, this trick will not be that bad at all. As long as you have the boneless finger flip at a pretty good height and the boneless frontside 180. Some common errors that could occur during this trick is, first of all, landing primo or not really doing like the full flip. And what I gotta say about this is that it all ties back to your boneless finger flaps. Because what I noticed with this trick, and this is a mistake that I did as well, is that when people do boneless frontside flips, they often don't really have boneless finger flips down as well as they should. You want to have your boneless finger flips down to the point where you could fully do the flip in the air, and so the board is not like tumbling on the ground. If you have to tumble a flip on a boneless finger flip, then when you do a boneless frontside flip, it's not gonna do the full thing, because you also have to add in the 180. So if you're having trouble with this flip, you either, like, I would say practice second step on the ground without jumping back on. Just try like on its own and practice flipping the board in the air and focus on pulling it back and doing it super fast to the point where it's just gonna go faster and faster. This step will typically take a lot of time, and so if you don't get it right away, there's no reason to feel upset. It's just gonna come with time. Another common error that could possibly occur could be that you don't really have like the full rotation. This ties back to the boneless frontside 180. You want to have the full motion there. You don't want to be like a boneless 90 almost. You want to have the full 180. And as long as you have those type of things, the boneless frontside flip will not be that bad. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for similar content. Also, make sure to follow me and Cam on Instagram, because we worked really hard on this tutorial, and K-Man himself filmed literally all of this. Like, he worked so hard on this as well. I'm just doing the voiceover, so if anything, he deserves more credit than me. And if you guys just really, if this video helped you and you've really enjoyed it, make sure to follow me, but especially him. All of our Instagram and whatnot will be linked in the description, so you'll have it there if you want to follow it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.